Racing here at ASRL Spa as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Stefano MkII is on his practice out lap. It's a lovely day for racing here at ASRL Spa as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Get ready for some high-octane action, as the drivers take on the challenge of qualifying at ASRL Spa. It looks like Adam is getting ready to make his move. He's taking his time to warm up those tires and get everything just right.
It's a delicate balance between taking it easy and pushing hard. Let's see how Adam handles it.
Adam is expertly commanding that car through Eau Rouge. Adam appears focused and prepared driving through Les Cones.
There's not much better than sitting near here and watching the cars speed by.
Stefano MkII is on his out lap.
These are the moments that really matter. Let's see if Stefano can deliver.
Stefano MkII is working his way through Eau Rouge. The adrenaline is pumping. Adam is on his out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
He'll want to get a good gap established for the flying lap.
Adam is driving through Corb Paul Frere. As Adam completes the outlap, he will be hoping there's enough space on track to fully attack on the flying lap. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Malero is taking his time to prepare for his qualifying run and get everything just right.
Patience is key in these early moments, Hal. But I have a feeling Malero is going to make it count.
Malero is looking relatively composed going through double gauche.
If Malero listens closely, the sounds of cheering fans should just barely be audible over the roar of the engine.
Malero is expertly commanding that car through Blanchimont. You can feel the tension building. Stefano MkII is out on track and getting ready to push for his qualifying time.
This is the moment he's been preparing for. Let's see if he can execute.
Stefano Amadei appears focused and prepared, driving through less cones. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Kevin MkII is working his way through fanes. Kevin MkII is keeping his head down through Blanchimont.
Spectators near here can smell the smoke wafting from nearby grills.
It looks like David Zahn is getting ready to make his move. He's taking his time to warm up those tires and get everything just right.
It's a delicate balance between taking it easy and pushing hard. Let's see how Zahn handles it.
This is what it's all about. Adam is putting everything he's got into this qualifying session.
It's certainly exciting to watch. But let's not forget, the goal is to secure a good starting position for the race.
Adam is currently up 0.2 going through Kemmel Straight. Adam has improved by 0.14 up through less cones.
If Adam gets greedy, this delta could go from green to red in the blink of an eye.
Adam is looking relatively composed going through double gauche. That ASRL T70 MkII Spyder looks good driving through campus.
I have always loved this section of the track.
Adam completes his lap in a time of 2:18.179, currently in P1. It's clear that Malero is pushing his car to the very edge of traction on this qualifying lap. Malero is driving through double gauche.
Fans sitting near double gauche get some of the best views of the action.
The pressure is on in this qualifying session, but Kevin MkII is rising to the occasion. Kevin MkII is driving through Kemmel Straight and is up 0.1.
This is where drivers have to decide to push for more or just try to maintain it.
It's all about precision and speed in qualifying, and Malero is nailing both.
Let's see if he can put a good marker down.
Malero just clocked a 2:20.313. 2.134 off of P1 and good enough for P3. Let's see if he can improve on that time further. Malero appears focused and prepared driving through Eau Rouge. Malero is working his way through Les cones.
The ASRL T70 MkII Spyder is indeed a sweet-ass looking ride.
Malero is in the green by 0.58, making his way through double gauche.
The rest of this lap is no cakewalk. Let's hope he can keep it up.
Malero is now up 0.44 in campus. Malero will be happy, with a time good enough for second in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 1.118, but that won't stop him from trying.
David Zahn is on his first flying lap. David Zahn is keeping his head down through Blanchimont.
There's a great spot near here to kick back with a cold drink and enjoy the beauty of it all.
David Zahn has completed that flying lap in 2:21.503, which is good enough for P4, down 3.324 to the leader. That ASRL T70 MkII Spyder looks good driving through Eau Rouge.
Fuel, fumes, fans, and fights, Eau Rouge has it all.
David Zahn is expertly commanding that car through Les cones.
When I get some free time after the race, I'm going to park my pudding near Les cones with a nice drink and some friends.
Stefano Amadei is looking relatively composed going through Blanchimont.
This is such a great track. I need to make it back here more often.
Adam is currently up 0.25 going through Bruxelles. David Zahn is up 0.12. A solid qualifying performance by Ryan Wilson, positioned in fourth. The question now is whether he can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners.
You're absolutely right, Hal. Wilson's current position of 4th reflects his strong qualifying performance. Now, he'll need to strategize to capitalize on this starting position.
Ryan Wilson appears focused and prepared driving through Blanchimont.
There's a spot near here where the teenagers sneak off to make out.
Ryan Wilson has just completed that lap in 2:19.543, which is 1.364 off the best time, putting him in P3. A solid performance from Stefano Amadei, currently holding down P6. However, with the session coming to a close, he'll need to find that extra bit of speed to move up the grid.
Couldn't agree more, Hal. Stefano is positioned impressively in 6th. Now, he'll need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
Stefano Amadei is driving through Blanchimont. Stefano Amadei has some work to do, as his best time of 2:21.771 is only good enough for 6th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure he will keep working on that 4.15 gap to pole.
It's an impressive showing by David Zahn, currently in 5th. He's showcased his talent, but will need to find those crucial extra tenths to climb higher. David Zahn is keeping his head down through Blanchimont.
Don't forget to check out the views near Blanchimont, they are fantastic.
David Zahn will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 3.232 gap to pole.
A strong showing from Ryan Wilson as he's currently in 3rd. With the session drawing to a close, he'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve.
Great analysis, Hal. Ryan has shown excellent pace to secure 3rd. Now, the focus shifts to whether he can use that track position to his advantage in the race.
Ryan Wilson will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 1.516, but that won't stop him from trying.
Ryan Wilson is expertly commanding that car through Eau Rouge.
This track has many great straights and corners, but this one is especially good.
Incredible drive by David Zahn so far, earning him 5th. The competition is fierce, however, and he'll need to quickly find more time to get even closer to the sharp end of the grid.
Spot on analysis, Hal. David is positioned well in 5th. It's crucial for him to maintain his focus and defend his position in the upcoming race.
That ASRL T70 MkII Spyder looks good driving through Bruxelles.
Spectators near here can smell the smoke wafting from nearby grills.
It's a very still day here at ASRL Spa, as we're getting ready to kick things off. Adam will lead the way from pole position.
Adam is sure to be excited at his prospects for this race.
Starting on the front row gives Ryan Wilson the best possible chance at challenging for the lead.
He will have to be smart about his moves. He must not burn out too early.
Coming in at third, we have Malero.
He's going to have to be quick out of the blocks to keep up with the top performers.
The fourth position belongs to Kevin MkII.
Kevin will be taking no prisoners today.
The fifth place on the grid belongs to David Zahn, a driver with plenty of experience.
A strong grid position, and he'll be expecting a solid result today.
At sixth, we have the one and only Stefano Amadei.
Big things expected for Stefano today.
Lining up in seventh is Jake Feemster. The race has begun, full throttle ahead. This first lap is crucial, as drivers need to establish their position early on.
The drivers will need to be aggressive but also patient. They can't afford to make any mistakes if they want to stay in the running for a podium finish.
It's a delicate balance, Ada, but the best drivers know how to push the limits and make it work to their advantage.
It's never easy to drive that razor's edge between perfection and disaster.
As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at ASRL for making this all possible. Heroes one and all. This is going to be one hell of a race, I can already feel it. Races are often more about maintaining consistency than having outright pace, but it doesn't hurt to have a little good luck every now and then. It's brilliant to see such a full grid here today. I think passing is going to be difficult today here at ASRL Spa, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on. The drivers are jockeying for position. Kevin MkII will be looking to get off to a good start and consolidate his position.
The drivers are walking a fine line during the first lap melee as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
All the drivers will be trying to take advantage of the pack whilst they're still bunched up. Every lap is an opportunity for Malero to learn just a little bit more to shave a few tenths or hundredths off his times. Ryan Wilson is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with David Zahn at the moment.
This is a frustrating situation for Ryan, but he can't give up just yet. He'll need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Zahn.
Look at that. Jake Feemster is hot on the tail of Stefano Amadei. It's certainly not going to plan for Jake Feemster right now, who is struggling to keep up with Stefano Amadei. Hold on a second. Oh dear, Ryan Wilson has had an incident.
He needs to pick up the pace for sure, but that's not always a real possibility.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Stefano Amadei as there is a big gap ahead.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Stefano is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Ryan Wilson is chasing David Zahn in P2. Ryan Wilson appears to be losing ground on David Zahn. He'll need to pick up the pace a bit heading into Kemmel Straight to get a good exit and gain some ground.
This is a tough situation for Wilson. He'll need to find a way to pick up some speed and close that gap.
During your racing career, Ada, how did you determine when it was the right time to pit for fresh tires due to tire degradation?
It was a combination of factors, Hal. Monitoring lap times, communicating with the team about tire wear, and assessing the car's handling were all crucial in deciding when to make a pit stop for fresh tires.
Hold on a moment. Looks like that's a mistake from Stefano Amadei. This could be costly.
Stefano is not going to be happy about that.
Oh, this is getting intense. Ryan Wilson is just a few car lengths behind David Zahn.
The gap between them is now just over 0.5 seconds.
It's been a solid race so far for Ryan Wilson. He's holding his position and keeping a steady pace.
That's the mark of a good driver. Wilson is staying focused on his own race and not getting distracted.
As a former racing driver, Ada, how important is the relationship between a driver and their team during a race?
It's absolutely crucial, Hal. The team provides valuable information and support, helping the driver make the right decisions on track. A strong bond between the driver and the team can be the difference between winning and losing.
Ryan Wilson is giving it his all chasing down David Zahn in P2.
The gap between them is just over 0.8 seconds, which can feel like miles if you're trailing and not catching up.
The gap between David Zahn and Ryan Wilson may be wide, but that doesn't mean David Zahn is safe. He's got to maintain concentration and avoid any lapses in performance.
That's very true, and Ryan knows that as well. He's got to drive his own race and wait for Zahn to make a mistake to have any chance of overtaking.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. We'll have to wait to see if Ryan can use the draft to his advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder his progress.
It's game on now. Ryan Wilson has closed the gap to David Zahn. It's now down to 0.3 seconds. This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We are truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I am so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
Ryan Wilson wants to find a way round David Zahn.
And Wilson is poised to capitalize on any mistake. It's just a matter of who cracks first.
It looks like Malero is pushing hard to catch up to Jake Feemster. This is where the race gets really interesting. Ryan Wilson is closing in on David Zahn.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Wilson needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
The gap between Ryan Wilson and David Zahn is widening. It's now up to 0.4 seconds. Things don't seem to be going Malero's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
The pursuit is on. Ryan Wilson is closing the gap on David Zahn, determined to claim P2.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Wilson needs to be careful not to overdo it.
Wait. Great driving from Ryan Wilson, who has just gained a place and moved up to second.
Yes, Wilson is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
These drivers are battling hard for this position, each one trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other.
These two are putting on a masterclass in precision driving. Every turn, every acceleration, calculated to perfection.
The gap between Jake Feemster and Malero is growing. It's now up to 0.7 seconds. Jake Feemster is looking for a way to close that gap to Malero. Ryan Wilson has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Adam. I expect his only hope at this point is that Adam makes an error. The gap between Ryan Wilson and Adam is getting smaller.
Exactly what Wilson needed. He can't afford to lose any more ground to Adam.
The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure Jake Feemster is going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. He's not giving up without a fight. It seems like Jake Feemster is struggling and not able to maintain his pace.
I heard a rumor that Feemster is feeling under the weather, likely from too much partying and staying up late.
The gap between David Zahn and Stefano Amadei is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from David to even allow Stefano to get a look in.
Stefano certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Zahn.
Hold up, breaking info. That won't be ideal for Kevin Lekmanski.
Oops, Lekmanski is going to be wishing that hadn't happened.
Kevin Lekmanski is placed 5th at the moment.
Absolutely, and he'll need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
Things are going according to plan for Adam, who is currently 1st.
Yes, but Adam has to keep his focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
The gap between Adam and Ryan Wilson is getting smaller. It's now down to 4.6 seconds.
This is where the mental strength of Adam comes into play. He'll need to stay calm and composed under pressure.
The track conditions are looking good here today. The drivers will be able to push the cars to the limit, and it's going to make for some exciting racing. A strong showing from Kevin Lekmanski, who is currently 5th.
Definitely, but he can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers gunning for that position, and Kevin has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Excellent work from Kevin Lekmanski, who has managed to increase his lead over David Zahn. Breaking update. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
It's clear that Kevin is dominating right now. He's making it very difficult for Zahn to catch up.
It's looking good for Malero, sitting in 4th.
Definitely Hal, but Malero can't afford to get complacent. This race is going to require focus and intensity.
Kevin Lekmanski is trying his best to catch Malero.
Can Kevin close that 0.8 second gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
Good news for Kevin Lekmanski. The gap to Malero has decreased. It's now down to 0.5 seconds. Kevin Lekmanski is on a mission, chasing Malero, who's currently got a comfortable lead.
We'll have to wait to see if Lekmanski can get into drafting range.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Ryan Wilson, as there is a big gap ahead.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Wilson is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
It's not going to plan for Ryan Wilson, who is trailing behind Adam, and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now. Malero is pushing to maintain the lead, while Kevin MkII is working to close in and challenge for the position. Kevin MkII is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Malero to 1.2 seconds.
This is what racing is all about, hard-fought battles with as much determination as respect, between friends and enemies alike.
We are used to seeing some hard-fought but clean racing here at ASRL. I'm expecting to see nothing different here today as this race unfolds. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Kevin MkII trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Malero. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
Anything can happen in racing, and we've seen MkII pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if he can do it again.
A solid performance from Adam, who is holding down first.
That's right, Adam can't afford to make any mistakes or let up. Every point counts in this championship.
Things are starting to get tense as Ryan Wilson manages to close the gap to Adam. It's now down to 5.2 seconds.
Can Adam keep Ryan behind? Let's see.
Well, it doesn't look like Kevin MkII is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Malero. Kevin MkII is on a charge. His split time shows he's upped his pace. The tension is building as Kevin MkII trails behind Malero. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as MkII can close that gap.
This will require some expert driving from Stefano Amadei. David Zahn is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. It looks like Stefano Amadei is making a move. The gap to David Zahn is now down to 7.4 seconds. Every move counts now as Kevin MkII works to reel in Malero and overtake for P4. Kevin MkII is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Malero at the moment. Things don't seem to be going Kevin MkI's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here. Hold on a moment. Oh dear, David Zahn has had an incident. Adam is placed first at the moment. The battle for P4 is heating up as Kevin MkI'i tries to catch Malero in P4.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. MkI'i needs to stay patient and wait for Malero to make a mistake.
It looks like we might get a battle between Kevin MkI'i and Malero.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
Looks like Kevin MkI'i is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
It's certainly not going to plan for Kevin MkI'i right now, who is struggling to keep up with Malero.
It's not over yet, but MkI'i needs to get a move on if they want to catch up to Malero.
Kevin MkI'i has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Malero. I expect his only hope at this point is that Malero makes an error.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
It's all about consistency for Jake Feemster, who is currently third. Oh no, Ada, look at this. Malero is closing in on Jake Feemster. The gap is now just 5.1 seconds.
This is a critical moment in the race for Jake. He'll need to find some extra speed and stay ahead of Malero.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. Braking alert. It's looking good for Kevin MkII, who has gained a place after passing Malero. Things are going according to plan for Kevin MkII, who is currently 4th.
Absolutely, and he'll need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
A strong showing from Stefano Amadei, who is currently 6th. Some great driving from Stefano Amadei, who has increased his lead over David Zahn and is starting to put some distance between them. It's looking good for Stefano Amadei, sitting in 6th. David Zahn is trying to catch up to Stefano Amadei. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish.
This is where experience comes into play. Stefano has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Zahn is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
It's game on now. David Zahn has closed the gap to Stefano Amadei. It's now down to 4.7 seconds. Ada, how do racing drivers like yourself train to maintain concentration for long periods of time?
Mental training is a huge part of a driver's preparation, Hal. Techniques like meditation, visualization, and working with sports psychologists can help drivers build their focus and mental endurance for a race.
That's not a small gap, but David Zahn has what it takes to challenge for the position. A solid performance from Stefano Amadei, who is holding down 6th. Impressive stuff from Stefano Amadei, who has managed to pull away from David Zahn, leaving him in choking in his exhaust fumes.
That's exactly what Stefano needed to do.
It's all about consistency for Kevin MkII, who is currently 4th.
Yes, but MkII has to keep his focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
Kevin MkII is not able to keep his pace consistent, and is currently 1.72 seconds down.
This may not be a track that MkII is familiar with, which can be a pleasant challenge or an annoyance at being off pace.
As a former racing driver, Ada, how challenging was it to adapt your driving style to account for tire degradation throughout a race?
It was a constant challenge, Hal. Tire degradation can change the car's balance and handling, so drivers need to be versatile and adaptable. It requires continuous adjustments to driving techniques and a keen understanding of the car's behavior.
Stefano Amadei is placed 6th at the moment.
Definitely, but he can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers gunning for that position, and Stefano has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Impressive driving from Stefano Amadei, who has managed to extend his lead over David Zahn. It looks like David Zahn will have to regroup and try to make up that lost ground.
It's really looking like Stefano is going to be tough to pass today. He's driving with real confidence and authority.
As a former driver, Ada, how did you manage the physical demands of racing?
It's all about preparation, Hal. Drivers undergo rigorous fitness training to build their strength, stamina, and flexibility. A proper diet and hydration plan is also essential to ensure peak performance on race day.
Things are going according to plan for Stefano Amadei, who is currently 6th.
That's right, Stefano can't afford to make any mistakes or let up. Every point counts in this championship.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Malero as there is a big gap ahead.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
Good news for Malero. The gap to Kevin Lekmanski has decreased. It's now down to 3.8 seconds. As we come into the final moments of this epic race, Adam is in the lead.
It takes a special kind of driver to perform under pressure like this. Adam has certainly risen to the occasion.
The leader has just finished the race. A fantastic result for Adam.
You can see the sheer determination on Adam's face as that becomes a win for the history books. That's the mark of a true champion, folks.
Ryan Wilson takes second place with a fantastic race.
Strong work securing second place. Well done.
Excellent focus from Jake Feemster to secure a fantastic third place on the podium. Kevin Lekmanski take fourth. Malero end in fifth. David Zahn claimed sixth. Coming in seventh, we have Stefano Amadei. It's a very still day here at ASRL Spa, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm excited for this one, Hal.
Stefano Amadei will be feeling confident starting from pole position.
It's also a nightmare if he can't hold onto it. Let's see how he will handle the pressure.
David Zahn is starting this race on the front row.
This is a great place to be, but there's always the threat of drivers right behind getting a better start and a slipstream into the first turn.
Malero has qualified third.
Malero will be ready to show what he's made of.
Kevin Lekmanski will begin the race from the fourth spot on the starting grid.
Like many others, Lekmanski is starting the race on the Standards tire compound.
Watch out for Jake Feemster, starting from the fifth grid position in today's race.
Feemster is hoping for a strong result.
In sixth place, we have Ryan Wilson.
Putting that ASRL T70 MkII Spyder into prime position for the race.
In the middle of the pack, we have Adam starting from the seventh position on the grid.
He's going to have to time his moves just right to move up the grid during the race.
The lights are off. It's pedal to the metal time.
This is where the driver's true abilities will be put to the test. Staying calm and collected while pushing for the lead is the ultimate challenge.
The racing is normally closely fought here at ASRL Spa. I think we are in for a cracking race. Ryan Wilson will be studying the nearby drivers and looking for anything that could give them an advantage. Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position? As the tires come up to temp, their available grip is changing, and the drivers that manage this transition best are likely to make progress through the field. Seems like Stefano Amadei is moving in slow motion compared to the rest of the field, already losing precious places.
Even the best drivers have off moments, but it's how they recover that counts. Keep your eyes on Stefano to see if he can recover from his slow start.
The pressure is on when the field is this tightly packed. Maintaining just enough aggression to hold off their rivals without pushing too hard will help these drivers keep it clean.
I for one am really excited, Hal. The rivalry between Ryan and Stefano has been building before the race, and this is where scores are settled.
Adam has nailed the start, gaining places early on, so he should be pleased with that.
Talk about hitting the ground running. But, as we know, it's not how you start but how you finish that counts.
Not the start that Malero wanted in this race. Seems he's been caught off guard from the get-go.
He's definitely made life harder, but there's still plenty of time to make up for that slow start, Hal.
Malero is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Kevin MkII to 0.1 seconds. Jake Feemster is running second, and trying to catch David Zahn.
It's a game of strategy now as Feemster hunts down David. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Kevin MkII is on a mission, chasing Malero, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Breaking news, folks. Looks like that's a mistake from Ryan Wilson. This could be costly.
The gap between them is just over 0.3 seconds. Can Kevin close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
The pressure is really on for Jake Feemster in first as David Zahn is closing in. This is where experience and skill really count. Stop the press. Look at this Ada, what a shame for Jake Feemster. He's lost P1 to David Zahn, and that's got to hurt.
Dave is in there like a rat up a drain pipe, Hal. Feemster is not going to be happy about that. Yeah, I really can't see him holding on to this place for much longer.
Ryan Wilson is holding second, but Jake Feemster is right on his tail. We're starting to see who really has the pace now in this race as Adam is starting to climb all over the back of Jake Feemster. Any closer and he may need to pop the boot. It looks like Adam is starting to catch up to Jake Feemster. The gap is now down to 0.1 seconds. Hold on a second. That won't be ideal for Stefano Amadei. Adam is looking for a way round Jake Feemster.
Rubbing's racing, but let's just hope they don't rub it too hard.
Adam is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. Stop the press. Superb driving from Adam, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
You can't argue with results like that. Adam is really making his mark on this race. Adam needs to focus to have a chance at getting past Feemster.
The gap between Malero and Jake Feemster is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Malero to even allow Jake to get a look in. Wait, now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
Feemster certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Malero.
This is a thrilling battle as Ryan Wilson edges closer to David Zahn in their fight for P1. It looks like Ryan Wilson is making a move. The gap to David Zahn is now down to 0.1 seconds. Things don't seem to be going Adam's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here. The gap between Adam and Ryan Wilson is getting smaller. And we're back, where the drivers are showing us some incredible skills.
Indeed, Hal, it's always exciting to see these skilled drivers operating such fantastic machines on amazing tracks.
Adam is staying focused while chasing Ryan Wilson in P2. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Ryan Wilson is breathing down the neck of David Zahn, not giving him any room to relax.
The slightest mistake from either driver could lead to a meeting with the barriers, and nobody wants an impromptu autograph session with the wall.
It seems like Ryan Wilson is pushing hard, currently on track to record his best lap so far this race.
Ryan appears to be pushing, hopefully he can keep it together.
Adam is running third, and trying to keep up with Ryan Wilson.
You can see that car bouncing around as it rides the curbs. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
David Zahn wants to get into Ryan Wilson's slipstream.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
The race is really heating up. Adam is hunting down David Zahn with everything he's got.
This is where every inch counts. Adam is pushing hard to close the gap on Dave. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
The gap between David Zahn and Ryan Wilson is razor thin as they vie for first in this nail-biting contest.
If this battle ends in tears, it could be like watching a high-speed domino effect. Let's hope they keep it clean and avoid any unplanned off-track excursions.
Oh, this is getting intense. Adam is just behind David Zahn. Stop the press. Big gains for Adam as they move up the field, leaving David Zahn behind.
Yes, but Adam can't rest on his laurels, but needs to keep pushing to consolidate his position. There's blood in the water for second place.
Oh, this is getting intense. David Zahn needs to keep Adam in his sights. It's game on now. David Zahn has closed the gap to Adam. It's now down to 0.1 seconds. You know, Ada, as a former racing driver yourself, can you give us some insights into what goes through a driver's mind during these quieter moments in a race?
Sure, Hal. During these moments, drivers often take the opportunity to assess their race strategy, monitor their car's performance, and plan their next move. It's all about staying focused and finding the right time to strike.
The gap between Adam and David Zahn is not insurmountable, but it's going to take a mistake from Adam to bring David Zahn into play.
That's right, and Zahn knows to keep pushing hard and driving his own race. He can't let Adam off the hook.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Kevin Lekmanski is chasing David Zahn in P3.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Kevin is really walking that fine line.
It looks like we might get a battle between Kevin Lekmanski and David Zahn.
That's a great effort from Kevin. He'll need to keep up the pressure and see if he can make a move.
We've certainly seen some of the drivers get it wrong today.
Anyone lost can just follow the trail of skid marks. I hear it's the latest form of GPS navigation.
Let's hope the other drivers don't follow suit. We might end up with a bumper car race instead of a high-speed competition.
At least we'd have something to fall back on if we ever get bored of regular racing. Bumper cars might be the next big thing.
It's a tense battle for position between David Zahn in third and Kevin Lekmanski in fourth. David Zahn is keeping Kevin Lekmanski at bay with a gap of 0.1 seconds. Looking at the lap times, David Zahn is not currently on pace with Kevin Lekmanski. Maybe he'll get a chance to see where to make up some time. Hold on a moment. Fantastic move from Kevin Lekmanski, who has just gained a position. In racing, anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that Kevin must be laser focused on Zahn's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
It seems like David Zahn is getting in range of Kevin MkII.
For sure, Hal, that's exactly what I would be doing here, as MkII is gonna be aware of him riding his bumper.
It's not looking good for David Zahn, who is still behind Kevin MkII, and the gap is increasing.
Zahn really needs to push in less cones to gain some ground before Kevin drives off into the sunset.
The race is heating up as Malero in 5th closes in on David Zahn.
We know Zahn isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate, Malero is going to have to take it.
Malero is on a charge. His split time shows he's upped his pace.
Malero appears to be pushing, hopefully he can keep it together.
Hold the phone. Oh dear, David Zahn has had an incident.
ASRL Spa is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes.
A strong showing from Adam, who is currently 2nd. It seems like Adam is pushing hard, currently on track to record his best lap so far this race.
Adam appears to be pushing, hopefully he can keep it together.
So, Ada, considering the high speeds and split-second decision-making involved in racing, what's the impact of even a minor lapse in concentration?
A minor lapse in concentration can have significant consequences, Hal. It could lead to an off-track excursion, a loss of position, or even a collision. That's why it's crucial for drivers to stay focused and alert throughout the race.
It's looking good for Adam, sitting in 2nd.
Absolutely. And he'll need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
Stefano Amadei has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Jake Feemster. I expect his only hope at this point is that Jake makes an error. It seems like Stefano Amadei is struggling and not able to maintain his pace.
Stefano needs to regroup and refocus and knock it up a notch.
Adam will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. Adam appears to be losing ground on Ryan Wilson. He'll need to pick up the pace a bit heading into double gauche to get a good exit and gain some ground.
Adam needs to focus and keep pushing, even when things aren't going his way. If he can close the gap down, he may be able to bring the fight to Wilson.
Kevin MkII is pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap to Adam. There's 13 minutes left in this session to make that happen.
We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with MkII in 3rd determined to catch up.
Kevin MkII is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Adam to 1.0 seconds. Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but can't we all just get along?
You can wish all you want, but I don't think that's how racing works, Ada. These drivers are here to win, and they'll do whatever it takes to get ahead.
I guess you're right, but wouldn't it be great if they all just stopped for high fives and fist bumps?
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for David Zahn, who is currently in P5.
It's going to be tough for Zahn, as Malero seems to have found his rhythm.
Oh, this is getting intense. Kevin MkII is just a few car lengths behind Adam.
The racing is getting tight between MkII and Adam as they battle for P2. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
The gap between Kevin MkII and Adam is widening. It's now up to 0.7 seconds. Adam is placed second at the moment, and hoping to keep his distance ahead of Kevin MkII, who is 0.8 seconds behind. Adam is in the flow, putting in his best lap so far. This is where the race gets really interesting. Kevin MkII is closing in on Adam. It looks like Kevin MkII is making a move. The gap to Adam is now down to 0.4 seconds. Even though Kevin MkII is a fair way behind Adam, he can't afford to let his guard down. Adam is still vulnerable to mistakes. A commanding performance from Adam, who has increased his lead over Kevin MkII, putting him firmly in his rear-view mirrors.
That's a really strong performance from Adam. He's not giving MkII any chances to catch up.
Kevin MkII is looking for a way to close that gap to Adam.
Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
Good news for Kevin MkII, the gap to Adam has decreased. It's now down to 0.1 seconds. Stop the press. A brilliant maneuver from Kevin MkII, who has just moved up the field.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
The pressure is on as Adam tries to catch up to Kevin MkII.
With just 0.3 seconds between them, Adam will need to close the gap to have hopes of a pass.
The gap between Adam and Kevin MkII is growing. It's now up to 0.5 seconds. It may seem like Adam is far behind, but Kevin MkII can't afford to let his guard down. One mistake could give Adam an opening to catch up.
Surely he's got enough in the tank to pull away. Gonna be interesting to watch this battle unfold.
Excellent work from Kevin MkII, who has managed to increase his lead over Adam.
Yes, it's clear that MkII is in control out there. He's making it very difficult for Adam to catch up.
It's all about consistency for Jake Feemster, who is currently 6th. He's pulling away. Jake Feemster is increasing the gap to Stefano Amadei.
It's clear that Feemster is dominating right now. He's making it very difficult for Stefano to catch up.
These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving.
It's game on now. Kevin MkII has closed the gap to Ryan Wilson. It's now down to 0.2 seconds.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. A driver that stays calm and focused is more likely to come out on top.
Stop the press. A great moment for Kevin MkII, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. The pursuit is on. Ryan Wilson is working on that gap to Kevin MkII, determined to claim P1.
It's a game of strategy now as Wilson hunts down MkII.
Ryan Wilson is not able to keep his pace consistent. and is currently 1.03 seconds down.
I heard a rumor that Wilson is feeling under the weather, likely from too much partying and staying up late.
A solid performance from Adam, who is holding down third. Impressive stuff from Adam, who has managed to pull away from Malero, leaving him in choking in his exhaust fumes. The pursuit is on. Ryan Wilson is closing the gap on Kevin MkII, determined to claim P1. It seems like Ryan Wilson is struggling and not able to maintain his pace. Ada, can you share some strategies that drivers use to manage tire degradation during a race?
Certainly, Hal. Some strategies include adjusting the car's setup for better tire life, altering driving lines to reduce wear, and using tire management techniques like lift and coast to preserve grip for as long as possible.
Things are heating up as Stefano Amadei tries to close the gap to Jake Feemster. Look at that. Ryan Wilson is hot on the tail of Kevin MkII.
Wilson is looking to close the 0.5-second gap and make a pass.
Looks like Stefano Amadei is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. The gap is 0.4 seconds now. Stefano is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Feemster.
Ryan Wilson is running second, and trying to catch Kevin MkII. Ryan Wilson is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Kevin MkII at the moment. Stefano Amadei is on a mission, chasing Jake Feemster, who's currently got a comfortable lead.
I would not be surprised to see him challenge for the position.
It's certainly not going to plan for Stefano Amadei right now, who is struggling to keep up with Jake Feemster.
This is not ideal for Stefano, but there's still time to turn this around. He'll need to focus and not let that gap get any bigger.
Ryan Wilson is on a mission, chasing Kevin MkII, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed.
The gap between them is now just over 0.5 seconds.
It looks like Ryan Wilson has found another gear in the last sector of the race. Hold the phone. It's true what they say, Ada, you're never completely useless.
Indeed, Hal, you can always be used as a bad example. That's an impressive burst of speed. It's all but said and done now.
Breaking update. What a move. Ryan Wilson has moved up to first.
Impressive. Wilson is really showing his skill and determination out there.
What a win. This is a historic moment for Ryan Wilson, who put on a masterclass in driving today. What a display of skill and precision.
That was a true masterclass in driving from Ryan. You could see him making split-second decisions with total confidence, and it really paid off. What a performance.
Some might say that second place is the first loser, but Kevin MkII certainly doesn't see it that way. He put in a phenomenal effort and should be proud of his podium finish.
Impressive result. He can be proud of that performance, which landed him on the second podium spot.
What a race from Adam, showing his skill and determination for a great third-place finish.
Impressive driving to secure that spot.
In fourth and fifth, it's Malero and David Zahn. Stefano Amadei in sixth. Taking seventh is Jake Feemster.